Chapter 1. The Hidden Key. Why Gratitude Matters More Than You Think. Have you ever wondered if something as simple as the words "thank you" could change the entire course of your twin flame journey? It sounds almost too simple, right? We often imagine reunion as something that requires monumental effort, deep healing shadow work, breaking karmic patterns, and enduring waves of separation. And yes, those things matter. But what if I told you that there's a force so subtle, yet so powerful, that it could open doors you didn't even know existed? That force is gratitude. Now, I don't mean the casual thanks you mutter when someone holds the door open. I'm talking about a state of being, a vibration, a way of perceiving your twin flame journey that shifts you from resistance to allowance, from lack to abundance, from separation to reunion. Why gratitude is the hidden key. Let's start here. Twin flame connections are not ordinary relationships. They're catalysts. They mirror back to you everything you've denied, suppressed, or tried to ignore within yourself. That's why it feels so intense, so overwhelming, and sometimes unbearably painful. When your twin flame pulls away, your first instinct might be to feel abandoned, betrayed, or rejected. You might obsessively question, why did they leave? What did I do wrong? Why can't they just come back? But think about the energy behind those questions. They're rooted in lack. They come from a vibration of not enough. And as long as you vibrate in lack, you attract more lack. This is where gratitude enters as the game changer. Gratitude says, even though my twin flame is not physically here, I am thankful for the lessons. I am thankful for the growth. I am thankful for the love that exists beyond physical presence. It's not denial. It's not pretending you're fine when you're not. Gratitude is choosing to shift your perspective. It's acknowledging pain, but also recognizing the gift hidden within that pain. Gratitude as a frequency. Here's the deeper truth. Gratitude is one of the highest frequencies in the universe. Studies in psychology and neuroscience have shown that practicing gratitude rewires your brain, increasing feelings of joy, calmness, and resilience. But on a spiritual level, it does something even more profound. It aligns you with the energy of abundance. And what is reunion if not abundance? Reunion is not the absence of something. It's the overflowing of love, wholeness, and unity. So ask yourself, am I radiating lack? Or am I radiating abundance? Because whichever you radiate will shape your reality. The contrast without gratitude. Let's paint a picture. Imagine two people on a twin flame journey. The first person is drowning in resentment. They replay old conversations, they scroll endlessly through social media trying to decode signs, and they mutter under their breath, "Why me? Why now? Why can't they see my worth?" Their energy is heavy, contracted, and desperate. The second person feels the same pain because separation hurts but chooses a different response. Each night, they write down 3 things they're grateful for. The way their twin flame once looked at them with tenderness, the lessons separation has revealed, and the chance to heal wounds they didn't even know existed. Now, who do you think is magnetizing reunion faster? Who is creating a vibration their twin flame feels drawn back to? It's not hard to guess. Why gratitude attracts, not repels. Here's the paradox. The more you chase reunion, the further it seems to slip away. But when you shift into gratitude, you stop chasing. You begin to embody peace. And peace is magnetic. Have you ever noticed how much more attractive someone is when they're calm, confident, and content with themselves? That's exactly what gratitude does. It transforms you from a place of need to a place of overflow. And reunion is not about 2 half-souls desperately clinging to each other. It's about 2 whole beings recognizing each other's wholeness and choosing to unite. Gratitude helps you step into that wholeness. The subtle art of gratitude. But let's get practical. How does one practice gratitude in the midst of heartache? Because let's be honest, when your twin flame blocks you, ghosts you, or chooses someone else, gratitude is the last thing on your mind. The answer is not to force it. Gratitude is not a performance. It's a gentle choice you make every day. Start small. Maybe you're not ready to say, "I'm grateful for this separation." That's okay. Instead say, "I'm grateful that I'm still breathing. I'm grateful for the strength to get through today. I'm grateful for the friend who checked in on me. As you train your mind to notice blessings, even the smallest ones, you gradually shift your vibration. And once that shift happens, gratitude toward your twin flame, even in their absence, becomes more natural. A real-life example. Let me share a story. A woman I once spoke with, let's call her Sarah, spent months in agony after her twin flame left. She spiraled into overthinking, stalking, and desperate attempts to reconnect. Nothing worked. One day, she stumbled upon the concept of a gratitude journal. Skeptical but desperate, she tried it. Each morning, she wrote down 5 things she was thankful for. At first, they were simple. I'm grateful for my bed. I'm grateful for my coffee. I'm grateful for the sunshine. But over time, her entries deepened. I'm grateful that my twin flame showed me my abandonment wound. I'm grateful that I am learning to stand on my own. I'm grateful that love exists between us, even if it looks different right now. 6 months later, something unexpected happened. Her twin flame reached out. Not because she begged or chased, but because her energy had shifted. Sarah was no longer radiating lack. She was radiating abundance. And that magnetized her twin flame back into her orbit. Rhetorical pause. So let me ask you, if gratitude can rewire your brain, lift your vibration, and subtly call your twin flame back, why wouldn't you practice it? What's stopping you from writing just one line of gratitude today? Is it pride, fear, or the belief that gratitude is too small to matter? Because the truth is, gratitude may be the smallest action with the largest ripple. Gratitude is not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about finding perfection within imperfection. It's not about denying separation. It's about recognizing the hidden gift inside separation. When you choose gratitude, you declare to the universe, I trust. I am whole. I already have what I need. And from that place of trust, reunion becomes not just possible, it becomes inevitable. Chapter 2: The Block: How Ingratitude Keeps Reunion Out of Reach. Gratitude is the golden key, then ingratitude is the locked door. But here's the tricky part. Most people don't realize they are living in ingratitude. They confuse longing with love. They mistake obsession for devotion. They call it waiting, but in truth they are dwelling in lack. The energy of lack. Picture this. You wake up every morning with the same thought. Why aren't they here? You scroll through your phone, hoping for a message that never comes. Every silence feels like rejection. Every delay feels like betrayal. And yet, underneath all of that pain, what's really happening? You are sending out a signal to the universe that says, I don't have. I am not enough. Something is missing. Now pause. Can reunion exist in that frequency? Reunion, which is the overflowing of love, harmony, and union. The truth is no. Reunion cannot be born from lack. It cannot be pulled in through the vibration of absence. That's why so many twin flame chasers feel stuck in cycles of endless waiting. Their focus is on what's missing, not what's already here. How ingratitude feeds separation. Ingratitude is not always loud. Sometimes it whispers. It shows up as resentment. They don't value me. It shows up as comparison. Why are they choosing someone else? It shows up as doubt. Maybe this was all in my head. And every time those thoughts arise without awareness, you strengthen the wall between you and reunion. Not because your twin flame is cruel, but because energy doesn't lie. Think of it like tuning a radio. If reunion is playing on 98.5 FM, but you're stuck on 92.7 FM, filled with static, frustration, and complaint, you simply can't hear the music. The station is still there, but you're not tuned in. That's what ingratitude does. Keeps you on the wrong frequency. The trap of when, then thinking. One of the most subtle forms of ingratitude is the when, then mindset. When they text me, then I'll feel peace. When we reunite, then I'll be happy. When this separation ends, then I'll finally be whole. But can you see the trap? You've postponed your wholeness. You've delayed your peace. You've outsourced your happiness to someone else's timeline. And here's the paradox. The very act of waiting in this way pushes reunion further away. Why? Because you're anchoring yourself in lack. You're essentially saying, until they come back, I cannot feel joy. And the universe mirrors that belief back to you. Real-life contrast example. Let's bring this into a story. Meet Alex. For months, Alex checked his phone obsessively, waiting for his twin flame to respond. He even kept a secret diary filled with lines like, "Why don't they love me enough? Why don't they see I'm the one?" The energy was heavy. Every thought, every action was soaked in lack. Unsurprisingly, nothing shifted. His twin flame kept their distance. One day, after hearing about gratitude practices, Alex resisted at first. He thought, "Why should I be grateful? They left me. They broke my heart." But something inside nudged him to try. He began small. "I'm grateful for the lesson of patience. I'm grateful for the strength this pain is building. I'm grateful that love exists, even if it's invisible right now." Weeks later, something shifted. Not in his twin flame at first, but in him. He laughed more easily. He reconnected with hobbies he'd abandoned. He began to glow. And then out of nowhere a message came. His twin flame wrote, "I don't know why, but I feel drawn back to you." It wasn't magic. It was alignment. By dropping the vibration of ingratitude and stepping into gratitude, Alex tuned himself back into the frequency of reunion. Why your twin flame feels your energy. Here's something many forget. Twin flames are energetically connected. When you sit in resentment, they feel it even at a distance. When you radiate gratitude, they feel that too. Think about the times you suddenly thought of your twin flame out of the blue, only to later discover they were thinking of you at the exact same moment. That's not coincidence, it's resonance. So ask yourself, what vibration are you sending them today? Would you want to come home to that energy? Rhetorical pause. Let me challenge you. What if your reunion isn't blocked by destiny, karma, or divine timing, but by your own inability to say thank you? What if the door has been open all along, but your focus on what's missing has kept you blind to it? What if reunion begins not with a phone call, but with a whispered prayer of gratitude? Breaking the cycle of ingratitude. So how do we break free from the cycle of ingratitude? The first step is awareness. Catch yourself when you think, "Why aren't they here yet?" Instead of spiraling, gently shift. "I'm grateful that this longing reveals how deeply I can love." The second step is consistency. Gratitude is not a one-time ritual, it's a lifestyle, a daily practice. Like training a muscle, you must condition your mind to see blessings, not just wounds. The third step is embodiment. Don't just write gratitude, live it. Speak it. Express it. Let your actions reflect a heart that trusts in abundance. The spiritual reframe. Separation is not punishment. It is preparation. Every twin flame who walks away leaves behind an invitation to grow, to heal, to return to yourself. When you curse that separation, you reject the gift. But when you thank it, you unwrap the very lesson that brings you closer to reunion. So the next time you feel abandoned, pause. Place a hand on your heart. Whisper, "Thank you. Thank you for showing me where I still need love. Thank you for teaching me strength. Thank you for reminding me that love cannot be destroyed. It only changes form." That small act shifts everything. Ingratitude feeds separation. Gratitude dissolves it. The difference between the two is not in your twin flame's actions but in your perception of them. So the real question becomes, will you choose to dwell in lack? Or will you choose to radiate gratitude? Because reunion isn't waiting for a future day. It begins the moment you decide to tune your heart to the frequency of thank you. Chapter 3: Self-Gratitude, the forgotten foundation of reunion. We often talk about being grateful for our twin flame, for their love, for their lessons, for their very existence. And yes, that's powerful. But here's the truth most people miss. Before you can authentically feel gratitude for them, you must learn to feel gratitude for yourself. Think about it. How can you genuinely thank your twin flame for their presence if deep inside you cannot even thank yourself for surviving their absence? How can you celebrate the lessons they mirror if you've never celebrated your own courage to face those lessons? Self-gratitude is not vanity. It is not selfishness. It is the soil in which every other form of gratitude grows. And without it, reunion will always feel just out of reach. Why self-gratitude matters. Let's pause here. When you look in the mirror, what do you see? Do you see someone broken, unworthy, still waiting for validation from another soul? Or do you see a warrior, A person who has endured heartbreak, shadow work, and nights of endless tears, yet still rises? The problem is most twin flame chasers never pause to thank themselves. They're so focused on their twin flame's absence that they forget to honor their own presence. But here's the paradox. Reunion is about two wholes coming together, not two broken halves. And wholeness begins with gratitude for your own being. The vibration of self-rejection. If gratitude is a magnet, then self-rejection is a repellent. Every time you say to yourself, "I'm not enough until they come back," you're pushing reunion further away. You're telling the universe that your wholeness depends on someone else's presence. But when you whisper, "I'm grateful for me. I'm grateful for the strength I carry. I'm grateful for the light and the darkness within me," you reclaim your power. Because let's face it, how can your twin flame recognize your worth if you cannot even recognize it yourself? Practical self-gratitude practices. So how do we cultivate this forgotten foundation? Daily mirror gratitude. Stand before the mirror each morning. Look into your own eyes. And instead of judging, whisper 3 thank yous. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for loving, even when it hurt. Thank you for carrying me through another day. First it feels awkward, even fake. But over time it begins to sink in. Body gratitude. Too often we only criticize our bodies. Yet your body is the vessel that carries you through this twin flame journey. Write a letter of gratitude to your body. Thank you, heart, for beating through heartbreak. Thank you, eye, for seeing beauty even through tears. Thank you, hands, for holding on when I wanted to let go. Gratitude for past selves. Think about the version of you that survived the darkest nights. That person deserves thanks. Write a note to them. Dear past me, thank you for not giving up when it felt impossible. Because of you, I am still here. A story of self-gratitude. Let me share it. Story. Maria had been separated from her twin flame for nearly 2 years. She tried every method. Meditation, affirmations, cord-cutting rituals. Nothing seemed to bring reunion closer. One day, in a therapy session, her counselor asked, "Maria, when was the last time you thanked yourself?" She laughed nervously. "Thank myself? For what? I'm the one who keeps messing this up." But the question haunted her. That night, she sat down and wrote a letter, not to her twin flame but to herself. Thank you for enduring the silence. Thank you for facing abandonment wounds. Thank you for choosing healing when giving up seemed easier. For the first time, she cried tears not of longing but of relief. She realized she'd never once acknowledged her own courage. Over the following months, Maria made self-gratitude a daily ritual. Slowly, her energy softened. She no longer radiated desperation. She radiated wholeness. And then one day her twin flame reappeared. He told her, "I don't know why, but suddenly I feel drawn back. Something about you feels different." It wasn't coincidence. It was self-gratitude reshaping her frequency. Why twin flames mirror self-gratitude? Here's something vital to understand. Your twin flame is your mirror. If you constantly reject yourself, they will mirror that rejection. If you honor yourself, they mirror that too. So the real work isn't about getting them to see you. It's about learning to see yourself first. Ask yourself, if I can't love myself in gratitude, how can I expect them to? Rhetorical pause. So let me ask you, when was the last time you thanked yourself for the love you've given? When was the last time you honored yourself for not collapsing under the weight of separation? What if the missing piece in your reunion is not gratitude for them, but gratitude for you? The ripple effect of self-gratitude. Here's the beautiful part. When you practice self-gratitude, it doesn't just stay within you. It ripples outward. You become calmer in conversations. You stop overanalyzing every silence. You glow not from needing but from knowing. And your twin flame, consciously or unconsciously, feels that shift. They sense a new energy. An energy that invites, rather than demands. That's why reunion so often follows a period of deep self-love and self-gratitude. Because your energy becomes irresistible. Not out of manipulation but out of authenticity. Self-gratitude is the anchor. Without it, gratitude toward your twin flame becomes hollow, a performance, not a vibration. But with it, every thank you you send toward them carries the weight of authenticity. It comes not from lack but from wholeness. So tonight, before you go to sleep, ask yourself, what can I thank myself for today? And remember, every thank you whispered to yourself is a brick laid on the path to reunion. Chapter 4. Gratitude for your twin flame, loving beyond separation. When you think of your twin flame, what emotions rise first? Is it longing, anger, resentment, or maybe a bittersweet ache that whispers, why aren't you here? These emotions are natural. After all, the twin flame journey is one of the most intense experiences a soul can endure. But here's the paradox. If you want to dissolve the walls of separation, the most powerful thing you can do is not to cling, not to beg, not to demand, but to give thanks. Yes, gratitude for your twin flame, even when they are far away. Why gratitude for them matters? See, separation is often misunderstood. It feels like punishment, but in truth it's preparation. Your twin flame didn't vanish to hurt you. They stepped back so you could both grow into the highest versions of yourselves. When you resist this truth, you fall into bitterness. But when you lean into gratitude, you shift the story. You begin to see your twin flame not as the villain of your loneliness, but as the teacher of your transformation. Gratitude reframes everything. Instead of saying, why did you leave me? You begin to say, thank you for giving me space to find myself. Instead of, why can't you see my worth? You whisper, thank you for mirroring the parts of me that needed healing. This shift in language is more than words. It's an energetic alchemy. How gratitude dissolves resistance. Think of the energy between you and your twin flame as an invisible rope. Every time you cling, demand, or resent, you're pulling too tightly on that rope. The more you pull, the more they instinctively resist. But gratitude loosens the grip. It says, I honor you. I release you. I thank you. And in that release, the rope softens. Suddenly, what once felt like a tug of war becomes a gentle invitation. Because let's be honest, who wants to return to a storm of resentment? Who feels safe stepping back into the energy of blame? But when your twin flame feels your silent gratitude, your vibration of peace, they are magnetized. Not forced, not trapped, but drawn back to you by resonance. Practical ways to express gratitude for your twin flame. So how do you actually practice gratitude towards someone who may have hurt you, left you, or triggered your deepest wounds? Gratitude letters unsent. Write a letter to your twin flame, not to send but to release. Thank you for showing me my strength. Thank you for awakening my heart. Thank you for reminding me that love is eternal, not conditional. Each letter is an energetic message, telling the universe you choose love over bitterness. Meditation of gratitude. Close your eyes. Picture your twin flame. Instead of replaying arguments or absences, imagine light around them. Whisper, thank you for existing. Thank you for walking this journey with me. Daily gratitude anchors. Each day choose one memory, not of pain but of beauty. Maybe it's the way they smiled once or a simple moment of laughter. Hold it in your heart and say, I'm grateful this memory exists within me. A story of gratitude and separation. Let me share it. Story that illustrates this. David was devastated after his twin flame left. For months he lived in bitterness. Every thought was, how could she abandon me? After everything, how could she just disappear? Then one day while journaling, he felt an inner voice whisper, what if you thanked her instead? Skeptical but desperate, he tried. He wrote, thank you for loving me enough to awaken me. Thank you for leaving because in your absence I discovered my own worth. Thank you for being my mirror, even when the reflection hurt. He cried as he wrote, because gratitude softened his anger. Over time he kept writing letters of thanks. He began to see her not as someone who hurt him, but as someone who helped him. Months later she reached out. Her words were simple. I don't know why, but I feel safe around you again. It wasn't magic. It was gratitude dissolving resistance. Why gratitude works across distance. You might wonder. But if I never send the letter, how will they know? Remember, twin flames are not connected primarily by words, but by energy. When you sit in gratitude, they feel it. Just as you felt sudden pangs of longing for them, they feel subtle shifts in you. Your gratitude becomes an energetic signal that says, the storm is over. It's safe to come home. Rhetorical pause. So let me ask you, what if your twin flame hasn't returned, not because they don't love you, but because they don't feel safe in your energy yet? What if your gratitude could be the bridge that turns fear into safety, separation into reunion? And most importantly, are you willing to let go of blame long enough to say, thank you? Transforming pain into gratitude. But let's be honest, gratitude doesn't always come easily. How can you be thankful for someone who ghosted you? For someone who triggered your deepest wounds? The answer is, you don't have to be grateful for the pain itself, but you can be grateful for what it revealed. For example, instead of saying, I'm grateful they hurt me, say, I'm grateful I discovered the parts of me that needed healing. Instead of, I'm grateful they left, say, I'm grateful I learned to stand on my own 2 feet. Gratitude does not deny the wound, it redeems it. The ripple effect of gratitude toward them. When you practice gratitude for your twin flame, even in absence, several things begin to shift. Your energy softens. You stop radiating desperation, which makes space for peace. They feel safer. On an energetic level, your twin flame senses the absence of resistance, which allows them to approach without fear. The universe responds. By radiating gratitude, you align with abundance, and the universe mirrors that abundance back to you. Gratitude for your twin flame is not about excusing their behavior. It's about transcending it. It's about choosing love over resentment, peace over bitterness, unity over division. When you say thank you, silently, energetically, authentically, you open the door. You loosen the rope. You dissolve the resistance that keeps reunion at bay. And one day, perhaps without warning, you'll hear from them again. Not because you begged, but because your energy became a sanctuary they longed to return to. So tonight, try this. Close your eyes, picture your twin flame, and whisper 2 simple words. Thank you. You may be surprised at how those words echo back to you, not in silence but in reunion. Chapter 5. The Daily Practice, Turning Gratitude into a Way of Life. We've talked about why gratitude is powerful. We've explored how it shifts your energy, your vibration, and even your relationship with your twin flame. But here's the challenge. Knowing about gratitude is not the same as living in it. So the real question becomes, how do you make gratitude a daily habit, so natural that it flows into every moment of your twin flame journey? Let's dive into the practical side. The importance of daily practice. Gratitude is like a muscle. If you don't train it, it weakens. If you exercise it consistently, it becomes stronger than any negativity or fear. Most people treat gratitude as an occasional visitor. They practice it only when life feels good, when things are flowing, when their twin flame sends a message, when they feel seen and loved. But the real power of gratitude shows up when you practice it even in the storm, especially during separation, especially during silence, especially when nothing seems to change. Because those are the moments when your energy matters most. Step 1. Morning Gratitude Ritual. How you start your day sets the tone for everything that follows. Before reaching for your phone, before scrolling through social media, before checking if your twin flame has reached out, pause. Place your hand on your heart and name 3 things you're grateful for. They can be small. I'm grateful for this breath. I'm grateful for my bed. I'm grateful for the chance to start again. This tiny ritual shifts your frequency before the world floods you with noise. Over time, you can expand it. Add gratitude for your twin flame, for your lessons, for your journey. But start simple. Start with the now. Step 2. The Gratitude Journal. There's something magical about writing gratitude down. It makes it real, tangible. Dedicate a notebook solely for gratitude. Each day, write at least 5 entries. They can be repetitive because repetition is a form of training. Examples. I'm grateful my twin flame soul exists, even if we're apart. I'm grateful for the strength separation has revealed in me. I'm grateful for the lesson of patience unfolding in my life. I'm grateful for the memory of their smile. I'm grateful for this journey that pushes me to grow. Don't underestimate the power of a few lines on paper. 6 months of consistent journaling can transform your entire vibration. Step 3. Gratitude Meditation. Sit quietly for 5 minutes each day. Close your eyes. Inhale deeply. With each exhale, whisper, "Thank you." Visualize your twin flame, not in anger, not in longing, but bathed in light. Imagine sending them waves of gratitude. Say silently, "Thank you for existing. Thank you for mirroring me. Thank you for walking this path with me." Even if you don't believe it at first, keep going. The heart catches up with what the mind practices. Step 4. Gratitude anchors throughout the day. We all have triggers. Maybe it's seeing a couple holding hands. Maybe it's remembering a song you shared. Maybe it's noticing the silence of your phone. Instead of spiraling into lack, use these as anchors for gratitude. When you see a couple, whisper, "Thank you because their love reminds me reunion is possible." When you hear the song, whisper, "Thank you for the memory of connection." When the phone stays silent, whisper, "Thank you for this space to strengthen myself." Every trigger becomes a teacher. Every ache becomes a doorway to gratitude. Step 5. Nightly gratitude reflection. Before bed, pause, reflect on the day, and ask, "What am I thankful for today?" Write 3 things. They can be small. I'm grateful I had the strength to cry and release. I'm grateful for the cup of tea that calmed me. I'm grateful for the hope that still burns. Going to sleep in gratitude seals your energy. It sends a signal to your subconscious. I choose abundance, not lack. And your dreams often shift as a result. A story of transformation through practice. Let me share a story that shows the power of daily rituals. Clara had been in separation for over a year. She felt abandoned and hopeless. Each day was a battle. But after hearing about gratitude practices, she decided to commit for 30 days. She started small, just 3 things each morning, 3 things each night. The first week felt forced. She even wrote sarcastic lines like, "I'm grateful for my empty bed." But by week 2, something softened. She began noticing small blessings, the warmth of the sun, the kindness of a stranger, the resilience of her own heart. By week 4, she realized she no longer woke up with dread. She woke up with peace. 6 months later, her twin flame unexpectedly reached out. He said, "I don't know why, but something about you feels lighter, safer, different." It wasn't coincidence. It was the invisible ripple of gratitude practice. Why consistency matters more than perfection. Here's the secret. Gratitude doesn't have to feel perfect every day. Some days you'll write your entries half-heartedly. Some days your meditations will be distracted. Some days you'll struggle to find even one thing to be grateful for. That's okay. Consistency matters more than intensity, because even imperfect gratitude shifts energy over time. Think of it like watering a plant. Some days you give it a full cup. Some days just a few drops. But as long as you keep showing up, the plant grows. Rhetorical pause. So let me ask you, what would happen if, for the next 30 days, you made gratitude a daily non-negotiable? What would shift if every silence became a chance to whisper thank you, instead of why me? And most importantly, what if reunion is not waiting for some distant future event, but for the consistent frequency you choose right now? Integrating gratitude into the twin flame journey. Gratitude is not just a practice, it's a lifestyle. It's in the way you speak, the way you think, the way you carry yourself. When you practice gratitude daily, you stop needing constant reassurance from your twin flame. You radiate peace, which makes you magnetic. You align with the vibration of union, even before it manifests physically. And here's the profound truth. When you already live in union energetically, the physical reunion often follows naturally. Daily gratitude practices are not about manipulating your twin flame into returning. They're about aligning yourself with abundance, peace, and wholeness. Reunion is not born from waiting anxiously at the window. It's born from becoming the person who no longer needs reunion to feel whole, but who is so grateful, so radiant that reunion becomes inevitable. So start today. Start small. Start with one thank you. And watch how that single seed grows into the garden of reunion you've been longing for. Chapter 6. Beyond Reunion Gratitude as the anchor of lasting union. When people talk about the twin flame journey, most of the focus is on getting to reunion. The separation feels so heavy, so painful, that reunion becomes the ultimate dream. It's easy to believe that once reunion happens, everything will be perfect. But let me ask you this. Have you ever achieved something you longed for, only to discover that maintaining it was harder than getting it? That's the reality many face after reunion. The wounds don't magically disappear. The mirrors don't stop reflecting. The intensity doesn't fade, it deepens. So how do you sustain harmony instead of slipping back into cycles of conflict and separation? The answer once again is gratitude. Why gratitude is needed after reunion? Think about it. Reunion is not the finish line. It's the beginning of a new chapter. Suddenly you're face to face not only with love, but also with every unhealed wound that love brings to the surface. Without gratitude, it's easy to fall back into old patterns, criticizing instead of appreciating, expecting instead of cherishing, taking for granted instead of thanking. But with gratitude, every challenge becomes an opportunity, every trigger becomes a lesson, and every day together becomes a blessing. Gratitude transforms reunion from fragile to unshakable. The energy of sustained gratitude. When you're reunited, it's tempting to slip into complacency, to think, now that they're here I can finally relax. I don't have to try anymore. But reunion is not about relaxing into passivity. It's about consciously nurturing the bond. Gratitude is the fertilizer. Without it, even the strongest connection can wither. Ask yourself, do I wake up grateful that this soul is in my life? Or do I wake up assuming they'll always be there? Because the difference between union that thrives and union that fractures often comes down to one word: appreciation. Practical gratitude habits. For reunion. So how do you live gratitude after reunion? Morning thank yous together. Begin each day by sharing one thing you're grateful for about each other. It doesn't have to be profound. I'm grateful for the way you made me coffee. I'm grateful for your smile this morning. Small acknowledgments create big ripples. Pause before criticism. When you feel triggered, stop. Instead of launching into blame, ask, what can I be grateful for in this moment? Maybe you're grateful they cared enough to show emotion. Maybe you're grateful for the chance to practice patience. Weekly gratitude ritual. Once a week, sit together and list 5 things you appreciate about the journey so far. This practice builds a culture of gratitude within the relationship itself. A story of gratitude in union. Consider James and Lily. They spent 3 years in separation, longing for reunion. When they finally came back together, the first months were bliss. But soon, old triggers resurfaced. Arguments flared. Fear of abandonment crept in. One night, after a painful fight, they sat in silence. Lily finally said, "We worked so hard to reunite, why are we letting little things tear us apart?" James suggested something simple. Each night before bed, they would say one thing they were grateful for about the other. First it felt forced. But slowly, their energy shifted. Instead of dwelling on annoyances, they began noticing small kindnesses. The way Lily laughed at his jokes, the way James reached for her hand in public. Gratitude reminded them of why they chose each other in the first place. Months later, their bond was stronger than ever, not because the problems disappeared, but because gratitude reframed the problems as stepping stones. Why gratitude heals triggers. Triggers are inevitable in reunion. Your twin flame will mirror back your deepest wounds. But gratitude prevents those wounds from becoming weapons. Here's how. Without gratitude, why do you always abandon me? With gratitude, thank you for showing me my fear of abandonment, so I can heal it. Without gratitude, you never understand me. With gratitude, thank you for challenging me to communicate more clearly. Do you see the shift? Gratitude doesn't erase conflict, but it transforms it into growth. Rhetorical pause. So let me ask you, what if gratitude is not just the magnet that brings reunion, but the glue that holds it together? What if every argument could become an opportunity to deepen love, simply by asking, what can I be thankful for right now? And what if your twin flame doesn't need you to be perfect, but simply present in gratitude? The ripple of post-reunion gratitude. When gratitude becomes the foundation of union, something remarkable happens. Trust deepens. Gratitude reassures your twin flame that they are valued, seen, and safe. Love expands. Instead of narrowing your focus, to problems, gratitude broadens it to blessings. Cycles break. Gratitude interrupts the old chase-runner dynamics, replacing them with partnership. And this ripple extends beyond you. Gratitude in your union radiates into friendships, family, even strangers you meet. Your love becomes a lighthouse for others. A warning about complacency. Let's be honest, it's easy to forget. Gratitude when reunion feels secure. Many couples, twin flames included, fall into the trap of taking each other for granted. But complacency is separation's silent cousin. It creates emotional distance long before physical distance reappears. Gratitude prevents complacency. It keeps love fresh, alive, and intentional. So ask yourself, am I treating reunion as a gift to cherish, or as a guarantee to neglect? Reunion is not the end of the twin flame story. It's the beginning of the deepest chapter. And gratitude is the compass that guides you through it. Without gratitude, reunion risks becoming another cycle of pain. With gratitude, reunion becomes a sanctuary, an unshakable union grounded not in need, but in appreciation. So if you're longing for reunion, remember, the gratitude you practice now will be the gratitude that sustains you then. And if you are already reunited, ask yourself tonight, what can I thank my twin flame for today? Because reunion is not just about being together. It's about staying together. And gratitude is what makes staying possible. Chapter 7. Gratitude as a life path. Beyond the twin flame journey. When most people first discover the twin flame path, their vision narrows. Everything revolves around the reunion. Every meditation, every sign, every sleepless night circles back to one question. When will we be together? But here's the deeper truth. The twin flame journey is not just about romance. It's about transformation. And gratitude, the vibration that draws your twin flame closer, also shapes every other area of your life. Because when you live in gratitude, your entire path changes. Gratitude expands beyond love. Think about it. Gratitude is not a relationship tool. It's a life frequency. Touches everything. In career, gratitude opens doors by shifting your energy from complaint to opportunity. In family, gratitude heals old wounds, turning grudges into forgiveness. In soul mission, gratitude anchors you in abundance, so your service flows with joy instead of strain. The twin flame journey is the training ground, but the skills you cultivate, especially gratitude, become the foundation for your whole life. Gratitude in career and finances. Let's start with career. How often do you say, I hate this job. I'm stuck. I wish I had more money. That energy of complaint keeps you locked in scarcity. But when you practice gratitude, even for a paycheck that barely covers your bills, you open yourself to expansion. Imagine waking up and saying, thank you for this work, because it sustains me while I grow. Thank you for the skills I'm learning here. Thank you for the challenges that sharpen me. Suddenly, instead of feeling trapped, you feel empowered. And in that empowerment, opportunities begin to appear. New jobs, unexpected raises, creative ideas. Why? Because gratitude shifts your focus from lack to potential. The same way it draws your twin flame closer, it also draws abundance into your career. Gratitude in family relationships. Family wounds are often the deepest. Many of us carry resentments toward parents, siblings, or even our own children. These resentments create walls not just between us and them, but between us and ourselves. Gratitude softens those walls. Instead of focusing on what your parents didn't give you, you can say, thank you for giving me life. Thank you for teaching me resilience. Instead of holding grudges against siblings, you can whisper, thank you for showing me the importance of boundaries. This doesn't excuse harm, but it reframes your perspective. It frees you from bitterness. And often, as you soften in gratitude, your family relationships begin to heal, sometimes in small gestures, sometimes in miraculous reconciliations. Gratitude in soul mission. Your soul mission, the reason you incarnated, is fueled not by pressure but by passion. And passion thrives in gratitude. When you serve from complaint, I have to do this, I need to prove myself, I must succeed, you burn out quickly. But when you serve from gratitude, thank you for letting me share my gifts. Thank you for those who listen. Thank you for the chance to make a difference. Your mission becomes joyful. Gratitude turns duty into devotion. It transforms obligation into offering. And here's the paradox. The more grateful you are for the chance to serve, the more the universe amplifies your reach. Gratitude aligns you with flow, and flow carries your mission further than effort alone ever could. A story of life transformation through gratitude. Let me share a story. Daniel's life revolved around his twin flame. When she left, he fell apart. His career stagnated. His family relationships strained, and his sense of purpose vanished. One day, while journaling about his twin flame, he felt an impulse. What if I wrote gratitude for other areas too? He began small. Thank you for the roof over my head. Thank you for my sister who calls sometimes. Thank you for my guitar. Over weeks, something shifted. He stopped seeing his job as meaningless. He realized it was teaching him skills he could use for his dream project. He called his parents and for the first time said, "Thank you for always trying your best." They cried together. And he began playing guitar again, not for fame but for joy. That joy blossomed into a community project where he taught music to kids. Months later, his twin flame returned. But here's the twist. Reunion was no longer his only goal. Gratitude had given him a life so full, so meaningful, that reunion became one piece of a much larger mosaic. Rhetorical pause. So let me ask you, what if your twin flame is not the only reunion waiting for you? What if life itself is waiting for your gratitude? What if abundance, healing, and purpose are already knocking, but you can't hear the knock through the noise of complaint? Gratitude as the foundation of a new life. When you practice gratitude in every area, your life path changes direction. Complaints turn into prayers. Obstacles turn into teachers. Ordinary moments turn into miracles. And here's the beautiful part. As your life expands in gratitude, your twin flame feels it too. Because your energy shifts from desperation to overflow. And overflow is irresistible. Practical integration. So how do you extend gratitude beyond the twin flame journey? Career. Each morning, write one thing you're grateful for. About your work, even if it's just learning patience. Family. Each week, tell one family member thank you. It can be small. Thank you for dinner. But those words heal. Mission. Each time you create, whisper, thank you for letting me be a vessel. Over time, these practices weave gratitude into the fabric of your life. Closing thoughts for Chapter 7. The twin flame journey begins with love, but it doesn't end there. It's a training ground for a life of gratitude. When you practice gratitude not only for your twin flame but also for your career, your family, and your mission, you step into alignment with abundance on every level. Reunion stops being your only goal. It becomes part of a much larger harmony. And in that harmony, you realize the true reunion is not just with your twin flame but with life itself. So tonight, ask yourself, where in my life have I forgotten to say thank you? Because the moment you remember, your entire path begins to shine. Chapter 8. Gratitude and the collective healing humanity through the twin flame journey. When we think about gratitude, we often think in personal terms. I'm grateful for my twin flame. I'm grateful for my lessons. I'm grateful for my growth. But what if your gratitude did more than just shift your own energy? What if it rippled out into the world, touching lives you'll never meet, healing wounds you'll never see, and raising the vibration of humanity itself? Because here's the truth. Gratitude is not just personal. It's collective. The twin flame journey as a collective mission. From the very beginning, the twin flame path was never just about two people. Yes, reunion is intimate and personal, but it also serves a larger purpose. To anchor unconditional love on earth. And gratitude is one of the most powerful ways to anchor that love. Every time you choose gratitude over bitterness, you're not just shifting your vibration, you're contributing to the collective frequency of humanity. Think of it this way. We live in a world often saturated with fear, division, and complaint. When you practice gratitude, you become a counterbalance, a light in the fog. And that light is felt beyond you, beyond your twin flame, into the wider web of human consciousness. How gratitude ripples outward. Energy is contagious. When you radiate gratitude, people around you feel calmer, safer, and more open, even if they don't know why. When you choose to thank instead of blame, you model a different way of being. And others subconsciously absorb that model. When you post words of gratitude online, you inspire strangers who may be silently struggling. In this way, your personal practice of gratitude becomes a collective contribution. Gratitude is collective healing. Humanity carries deep wounds. Wars, betrayals, losses, generational trauma. And while no single person can heal it all, every act of gratitude plants a seed of healing. For example, when you forgive your twin flame through gratitude, you soften the collective energy of resentment. When you thank your family despite their imperfections, you soften the generational cycles of blame. When you give thanks for life itself, even in difficulty, you remind the collective that joy is possible amidst struggle. It may seem small, but imagine millions of twin flames, millions of awakened souls, practicing gratitude daily. The collective vibration would shift dramatically. A story of collective ripple. Consider Elena. She began her gratitude practice during separation. First, it was just for her healing. But soon she started sharing snippets online, simple posts like, "Today I'm grateful for silence because it teaches me to listen deeper." To her surprise, people responded. Friends, strangers, even coworkers began commenting, "I needed to hear this today." Some even started their own gratitude journals. Over time, Elena realized her practice wasn't just about her twin flame. It was about creating a ripple that touched dozens, then hundreds of lives. Her gratitude became collective medicine. Why gratitude raises collective consciousness? Let's go deeper. Gratitude vibrates at a higher frequency than fear, anger, or complaint. And when enough individuals vibrate higher, the collective field shifts. This is why gratitude is more than personal, it's planetary. Each thank you whisper is like adding a note of harmony to the symphony of humanity. Imagine an orchestra where half the instruments are out of tune. That's our world today, so much discord. But every time you practice gratitude, you tune your instrument. And as more instruments tune, the symphony begins to shift from chaos to harmony. The twin flame contribution. Twin flames specifically have a unique role, because the intensity of your connection forces you to face wounds most people avoid. When you choose gratitude in the midst of that intensity, your transformation is amplified. That amplified energy doesn't just stay between you two, it radiates outward. You become living proof that love can triumph over fear, that gratitude can triumph over resentment. And in a world starving for hope, that proof is revolutionary. Rhetorical pause. So let me ask you, what if your twin flame journey isn't just for you, but for the healing of humanity? What if every thank you whisper to your twin flame is also a thank you whispered into the collective field? And what if the gratitude you practice today helps ease the pain of someone you'll never meet halfway across the world? Practical ways to share gratitude with the collective. So how do you extend your gratitude beyond yourself in your twin flame? Public gratitude expressions. Share words of thanks, not just for your twin flame but for life, in conversations, online posts, or simple daily interactions. Community gratitude practices. Invite friends or family to join you in sharing one thing they're grateful for each week. Collective practices magnify the energy. Silent gratitude for strangers. When you see someone on the street, silently bless them. Thank you for your presence in this world. It costs nothing but shifts everything. Gratitude in service. Volunteer, give, or serve, not out of obligation but out of gratitude for what you've been given. This turns gratitude into action, a vision of a grateful humanity. Imagine a world where gratitude was the default language, where nations thanked each other for cooperation instead of competing for dominance, where families expressed appreciation daily instead of dwelling on old wounds, where individuals woke up not with complaints but with thanks for another chance at life. It may sound idealistic, but every great shift in humanity began with a small group choosing differently, and twin flames through gratitude are part of that group. Closing thoughts for Chapter 8. Gratitude begins with you. It expands to your twin flame. It sustains your reunion. It reshapes your life path. And ultimately, it heals the collective. So the next time you whisper thank you, remember, you're not just healing yourself. You're contributing to the healing of humanity. Because gratitude is not just a personal practice. It's a global revolution. And you are part of it. Chapter 9. Gratitude in Action: How Twin Flame Unions Shape Society. When you hear the phrase twin flame, it's easy to think only of personal love stories, two souls longing, separating, and reuniting. But if you look closer, you'll notice something extraordinary. Twin flame-like unions have always shaped the world. They may not have carried the label twin flame, but their energy, the deep bond of two souls mirroring, challenging, and elevating each other, has left ripples that touched entire cultures. And in every case, gratitude was the fuel. Gratitude for love, gratitude for lessons, gratitude for the chance to walk together. Twin flames in myth and legend. Throughout history, humanity has told stories of sacred unions. These stories weren't just about romance. They were about transformation for the collective. Shiva and Shakti in Hindu tradition. Their union symbolizes the balance of masculine and feminine energy. Devotees express gratitude for their dance of creation, seeing it as the source of life itself. Isis and Osiris in Egyptian mythology. Even after Osiris was torn apart, Isis's devotion and gratitude brought him back to life. Their myth taught ancient societies about rebirth, resilience, and the sacredness of love. Yin and Yang in Chinese philosophy. Though not personified as lovers, they represent the eternal dance of duality. Gratitude for this balance became a foundation for harmony in family and governance. Notice the pattern. These unions weren't just personal, they were archetypes. They taught entire civilizations the power of balance, love, and gratitude. Historical unions that shifted culture. Let's move from myth to history. Rumi and Shams of Tabriz, 13th century. Their connection resembled a twin flame dynamic. Rumi the poet was transformed by Shams, his spiritual mirror. Out of that union came poetry filled with gratitude to the divine and to love itself. Today, millions still find healing in Rumi's words. Frida Kahlo and Diego Rivera. Their relationship was turbulent, filled with pain and separation. Yet Frida often expressed gratitude for the intensity of their connection, saying it inspired her art. And her art, born of that gratitude, gave voice to suffering and resilience for generations. Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King. Their partnership was more than marriage, it was a shared mission. Coretta expressed gratitude for their bond as she carried on his legacy after his death. Their union didn't just touch their family. It shifted the trajectory of civil rights in America. These examples show us something crucial. When twin flame-like unions embrace gratitude, their ripple extends far beyond two people. It transforms culture itself. Modern examples of gratitude-driven union. Even today, we see echoes of twin flame dynamics shaping society. Spiritual teachers and healers often describe meeting partners who challenge them to awaken. Their gratitude for the journey inspires books, workshops, and movements that guide thousands. Artists and musicians frequently channel gratitude for lost or reunited loves into work that heals collective heartbreak. Think of songs that carried you through dark nights. Many were born of twin flame energy transmuted into art. Activists and leaders sometimes find strength in the gratitude they feel for a partner who shares the burden. That gratitude sustains them, even in the face of resistance. Why gratitude turns union into impact? Here's the question. Why do some twin flame unions stay private while others ripple out into society? The answer is gratitude. Without gratitude, unions collapse inward, trapped in resentment and cycles of pain. With gratitude, unions overflow. The love doesn't stop at two people. It spills into art, movements, communities, even nations. Gratitude makes the personal universal. A story of a modern couple. Consider a modern story, Anna and Luis. They met young, felt the undeniable spark, then separated for years. When they reunited, instead of hiding from their turbulent past, they began sharing their story online. Their message wasn't "look how perfect we are." It was "we're grateful for the storms because they shaped us." Their honesty attracted thousands who saw themselves in the struggle. Their gratitude gave others permission to heal, to believe in reunion, to stop romanticizing only the light and start appreciating the growth in the dark. Today, Anna and Luis run retreats where couples explore gratitude as the foundation of love. Their private reunion became a collective movement. Rhetorical pause. So let me ask you, what if your twin flame journey is not just about you, but about the people who will one day be touched by your story? What if your gratitude today could inspire someone decades from now to choose love instead of fear? And what if the art, the service, the wisdom born from your union is the very medicine humanity needs? The collective power of twin flame. Gratitude. Imagine thousands of twin flames across the world, all choosing gratitude. Gratitude for separation, as painful as it is. Gratitude for reunion, as beautiful as it is. Gratitude for the lessons, as humbling as they are. This collective vibration would do more than heal relationships. It would soften conflicts, inspire art, fuel activism, and anchor unconditional love on earth. Because gratitude is never just personal. It is always political, cultural, and spiritual. Practical ways to anchor collective gratitude. If you feel called, here's how you can make your gratitude ripple outward. Share your story not to boast but to inspire. Even a small post about what you're thankful for in your twin flame journey can touch someone who's struggling. Create through gratitude, write, paint, sing, or build something infused with the energy of thanks. Creative works carry vibration far beyond words. Serve in gratitude. Let your reunion, or even your separation, fuel compassion. Volunteer, teach, or mentor from a place of love. Model gratitude in relationships. Show your friends and family what gratitude looks like in action. Let your love be the proof. Closing thoughts for Chapter 9. From myth to modern times, twin flame-like unions have always been catalysts. They've inspired poetry, art, revolutions, and healing movements. And in every case, gratitude was the bridge, from private love to public impact. So remember this, your journey isn't small. The gratitude you cultivate for your twin flame is not just for you. It is for the world. Because when two souls reunite in gratitude, the universe doesn't just smile. It evolves. Chapter 10. The Roadmap, Living Gratitude Through Every Stage of the Twin Flame Journey. If you've come this far, you already understand something most people overlook. Gratitude is not just a nice idea. It is the lifeblood of the twin flame journey. But here's the challenge. The journey isn't linear. It's not a straight line from meeting to separation to reunion to mission. It's a spiral. You circle back. You fall, you rise. And at every twist, gratitude must be practiced differently. So let's break it down. Here is your roadmap. How to live gratitude through every stage of the twin flame path. Stage 1. The awakening gratitude for the spark. The first stage is intoxicating. You meet your twin flame and the recognition feels electric. It's like your soul remembers something your mind can't explain. It's easy to take this stage for granted, to get lost in the bliss, without anchoring gratitude. But gratitude here is vital. Instead of just drowning in euphoria, pause to say, thank you for this meeting. Thank you for showing me that love this deep exists. Thank you for awakening my soul. Why? Because this early gratitude lays the foundation. It reminds you that the meeting is not random. It's sacred. Stage 2. The separation gratitude for the lessons. Then comes the storm. Separation. Silence. Distance. Most people see this stage as punishment. But those who survive it know. It's the stage where gratitude matters most. Here, gratitude is not about pretending you don't hurt. It's about reframing the hurt. Thank you for the silence, because it teaches me to listen inward. Thank you for the distance because it reveals my own strength. Thank you for the pain, because it shows me where I still need healing. Without gratitude, separation feels like abandonment. With gratitude, it becomes initiation. And isn't that the deeper truth? Separation isn't the end. It's the training ground for reunion. Stage 3, the reunion gratitude for the return. Then, often when you least expect it, reunion arrives. This stage is blissful but also fragile. Without gratitude, reunion can collapse under the weight of old wounds. So gratitude must become the anchor. Not just thank you for coming back, but daily lived gratitude. Thank you for staying. Thank you for choosing me again. Thank you for the small moments. Shared meals, shared laughter, shared silence. Gratitude turns reunion from a temporary high into a lasting union. It transforms fear of loss into joy of presence. Stage 4. The mission gratitude for the overflow. Every twin flame reunion carries a purpose beyond two people. Together you're called to serve, to bring light, art, healing, or leadership into the world. Here gratitude expands outward. It's no longer just for each other, but for the chance to serve. Thank you for letting our love ripple into the world. Thank you for the people who are touched by our journey. Thank you for the mission we get to live together. Gratitude here sustains service. Without it, mission feels like burden. With it, mission becomes joy. Practical roadmap. Gratitude practices for each stage. Awakening practices. Journal the first feelings you had upon meeting. Revisit them often with gratitude. Create a gratitude altar, photos, objects, reminders to honor the spark. Separation practices. Write unsent gratitude letters for lessons learned. Meditate daily, whispering thank you with every breath. Reframe triggers. Every pang of longing becomes a cue to say thanks. Reunion practices. Begin mornings with a shared thank you ritual. When conflicts arise, pause. Find one thing to be grateful for before responding. Keep a couple's gratitude journal, each writing entries about the other. Mission practices. Dedicate part of your work/service to gratitude, for your gifts, your audience, your opportunities. Share your gratitude publicly. Let your story inspire others. Give back, not from obligation but from overflowing thanks. A story across the stages. Let's follow a couple, Maya and Daniel. Awakening. They met in college. From the first conversation they felt a cosmic recognition. Maya wrote in her diary, "Thank you, universe, for this soul I don't yet understand." Separation. After graduation, life pulled them apart. Daniel married someone else. Maya was devastated. But instead of collapsing, she began a gratitude journal. She wrote, "Thank you for showing me my wounds. Thank you for teaching me patience." Reunion. 10 years later, divorced and wiser, Daniel reached out. Their reunion was intense, but also fragile. They fought. They cried. But Maya insisted, "Let's start every day with gratitude." Slowly, conflicts softened. Mission. Today, Maya and Daniel run healing retreats for couples. Their story, infused with gratitude, gives hope to thousands. Notice how gratitude carried them, not just to reunion but through every stage into mission. Why gratitude is the constant. No matter what stage you're in, whether you're blissfully united or painfully separated, gratitude is the one practice that never loses power. It's the constant thread, the lifeline, the compass. In awakening, gratitude honors the spark. In separation, gratitude redeems the pain. In reunion, gratitude sustains the bond. In mission, gratitude expands the love. Without it, the journey feels chaotic. With it, the journey becomes sacred. Rhetorical pause. So let me ask you, what stage are you in right now? What would shift if you made gratitude your daily anchor in this stage? And most importantly, can you trust that gratitude will carry you into the next stage, no matter how far away it feels? Closing thoughts for Chapter 10. The twin flame journey is not for the faint of heart. Tests you, breaks you, remakes you. But gratitude is the rope that pulls you through every fire, every silence, every rebirth. If you remember nothing else from this roadmap, remember this: gratitude is not optional, it is essential. So wherever you are today, meeting, missing, reuniting, or serving, pause, breathe, whisper, "Thank you." Because in those two words lies the power to transform not just your twin flame journey but your entire life.